I'm Master Cicerone, Mirella Amato, and I'm here today to share with you my holiday beer cocktail recipe for this year.
Tasty.
Now this cocktail is shaken, and those of you who've read my award-winning book will know that in the beer cocktail section I mentioned it's not a good idea to shake beer. Well, I've since learned from my friend and colleague Elaine Duff, who is a consultant in the spirits industry, that it's okay to shake beer as long as you keep it to under 3 ounces in the tin. What I have figured out on top of that is that if you chill the shaker, things go a lot more smoothly. So the trick I've developed is to chill the mixing glass first, and then when I'm ready to make the cocktail, I pour that ice into the tin. That way we're not wasting too much ice. So this year's cocktail is a little bit different in that it has a sour note. It is tart, and it uses a beer with a sour note in it. And this beer is a Flanders Red style ale. There are many of them on the market, but this is the benchmark for the style, and it's widely available. It's the Rodenbach Grand Cru. If you haven't had it, it's definitely worth a taste. We're gonna open that up. Now my favorite sour cocktail is the sidecar. So the concept behind this cocktail is to amplify the flavors in the Rodenbach while inching towards the flavor profile of a sidecar. So the first thing I'm going to throw in is some cognac, and cognac spends quite a bit of time in wood and extracts some very complex flavors from the wood. Rodenbach also extracts flavor from wood. It spends a lot of time in large wooden vats, and so that's amplifying those flavors there. That was a 1/4 ounce. Now I'm going to use a 1/2 ounce of maraschino liqueur. This is a cherry flavored liqueur, and Rodenbach has fruit notes that have often been described as cherry-like. So that's what I'm doing there. Then just to round things off and to inch a little more towards the sidecar flavor profile, a little 1/2 ounce of triple sec. 1 dash of Angostura bitters to tie the room together. There you go. And then of course, the beer. I've got my Rodenbach Grand Cru. I'm going to go with 1.5 ounces. There we go. I'm going to add the ice. Give it a good smack. And here we go. The glass is chilled. Oop. Go ahead and pour this. Very similar in color to the sidecar, which I love. Now for the garnish, I'm going to use the Menu beer foamer, and the idea here is to create a beer-like foam on top of the cocktail. And I'm just going to add a little egg white to give that foam some structure, otherwise it collapses within about 2 minutes, which is not ideal. You want the cocktail to look pretty. I just use 2 bar spoons. 1, 2. So I discovered the beer foamer earlier this year. I did a series of videos which were beer foam gadget reviews with my friend Matt Martineau, and it did occur to me when we were looking at this one that it might be cool to use to put foam on top of a cocktail and create a beer-like texture. So this cocktail is also great without the foam on top. If you do make it that way though, I would recommend using 2 ounces of the Rodenbach instead of 1.5 ounces. Remember, foam is beer, so you're just making that substitution there. And I'd be curious to know from people who work behind bars whether there's some other way to create this foam. Go ahead and pour it on the cocktail. There we go. Make it look pretty, of course. And another thing I would recommend is to grab the rest of the beer, pour it on in a glass, and serve it alongside. The back and forth is quite delightful. But here you go. This is the MoGu cocktail. Enjoy and happy holidays.
Tasty.